Welcome back. We are joined again by Directors of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, and Chief Election and Campaign Correspondent, Robert Costa. Bob, I want to start with you. In your conversations with Republicans, quite separate from the drama at Mar-a-Lago, what is the Republican sentiment? Do they feel they are losing momentum?
There's alarm inside of the Republican Party. Just weeks after the vote in Kansas on abortion rights, you now see the Democrats passing a climate and spending bill and starting to gain traction. And they're also starting to frame the Republican Party in a sharper way on the issue of democracy, running hard against election deniers, and even President Biden taking a new step in terms of his rhetoric, referring to the Republican Party, as you said, as semi-fascist.
Anthony, does our data tell us anything about the possible strength of that kind of rhetoric or any warning signs possibly for the president to go not maybe that far?
We went through the primaries, and one after another, and voters for the Republican side were saying they wanted the party not only to support Donald Trump, but they wanted Donald Trump's endorsement behind a candidate, and they also wanted Republican candidates to be talking about things like the 2020 election. All of that, other voters tell us, is out of sync with the larger electorate wants to talk about the economy. That's the number one issue. Inflation, the number one issue. So it's not just that kind of rhetoric, but it's the subject matter, too.
And you heard the Democratic National Committee Chairman Jamie Harrison say the president's got this tremendous set of accomplishments. He should run for re-election. The DNC will be fully behind him. And yet our data and other data continues to show Democrats aren't yet sold on that.
Well, no, because they've got a lot of ground to make up, number one. Number two, on the House.
But they're not even sold on Biden as a re-election candidate.
Well, that...
Specifically.
Yeah, that may be... Look, a president is always a factor, as we've discussed. And Biden is certainly a factor. The question is, can they motivate Democrats to actually go out and support him? And what we have seen, this is changing, but what we have seen so far is Democrats a little bit more reluctant to do that than Republicans who are sort of chomping at the bit to go and vote against Joe Biden.
There's no one chomping at the bit, based on my reporting, to run against President Biden in 2024 in a Democratic primary. One of his rivals from 2020, Senator Bernie Sanders, has been in lockstep politically most of the time with President Biden when it comes to the big picture on policy. And look at the comments just this past week from California Governor Gavin Newsom comparing President Biden to FDR in terms of his governing accomplishments. Newsom's widely seen as a future presidential candidate, but he's not making any move to challenge Biden. In fact, he's praising Biden.
And looking to maybe dial back the sense that some Democrats had a month or a month and a half ago that he was trying to position himself just in case. Looked like he was dialing that back a little bit. Anthony, what to watch in the next couple of weeks?
Oh, start with the Senate. We got to start looking at the Senate. We'll be polling in a lot of these races. Some other folks have. The Senate is different from the House in that it is going to be more candidate focused. And it comes back to what I was just saying about have Republicans nominated candidates that can appeal to a wider electorate. I think we're going to see tests of that in Pennsylvania. We're going to see tests of that in Georgia. We're going to watch Arizona, among others. These will become household state names, if you will, as we go through this campaign.
And Bob, in that regard, Nevada, Colorado, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Ohio, all test cases for the Trump effect and this extremism label.
And there's a tension inside of the GOP, I'm picking up in my reporting, between what I would call the McConnell world of the GOP, the longtime Republican business-friendly establishment in power in the Senate, versus Senator Rick Scott, who runs the National Republicans campaign on the NRSC. There's a strategic sense that Scott is aligned with Trump and Trumpism inside the Republican Party, and that he's embraced candidates who might not have the best shot to win. So now you see McConnell and his super PAC arm, the Senate Leadership Fund, trying to do their own thing, not necessarily everything that Rick Scott's doing at the NRSC.
Intra-party maneuvering, it's not uncommon. Bob Costa, Anthony Salvanto, thanks so much, and we'll be right back.